This video is on how to use the data export feature within the setup function. So what I'm going to do is to go to setup, and then within setup, you'll find in the data section a data export service. And when you open it, what you get is this screen, which says it's the weekly export service, but you can export now or you can schedule an export. Those are the two. And what it's telling you here is your next scheduled export is none. And we'll talk more about that from a features perspective, just to make sure you kind of read through these words. What this does is to prepare a copy of all your data. And there's issues there around your reports, but we'll come back to that one. But this allows you to schedule it, and they're going to be available for 48 hours once they're exported. But let's go on ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is to do the export now, and that pops up this screen. It allows you to select whether or not you want to add images and documents or also files and other content. It also says, do you want to include all of your data? Now, for this, what I'm going to do is to speed it up. I'm not going to use all my data. You can't click it here to turn it off. What you actually have to do is to go down. So let's say I'm going to do accounts, contacts, and opportunities, just to kind of get a starting point going. So I'm going to go on ahead and start that export. And then it comes back to me and says, okay, it's scheduled, it's in process, and you'll receive an email once it's done. And it's now, what I'm seeing is 10:18. So let's just see how long that's going to take. So while this is running, let's talk through a couple of other resources. There's some excellent features that we can talk about if you wanted to look at how to do, this is the other. So if we're looking here, just to back up, if we do a schedule the export, these are the features that we get. This allows us to schedule it to run weekly or monthly, and with a start and end date, just to give you a sense of where that is, preferred times, and then again you can include all the information or not. What this is going to do is to create a CSV file, which is going a zip file with CSVs in it that's going to come to you directly. Now, what happens though is that, and you'll see lots of really helpful information around an FAQ here on how often can you do it and what best to work with. So I'd encourage you to look at this data export FAQ. Another good one is the data recovery and this cost FAQ, which is relatively scary when you dive into it, because what it basically says is that if you need Salesforce to recover, they're going to charge you $10,000, and it costs much more than that, but that's all they're going to end up charging you. What they're also going to do is they're going to talk about the fact that, well, I'm going to show you some of these other resources. But the other important thing is that they're going to give you just the CSV file. So what we're doing today with the data export is what you're going to get. So that these are worth $10,000 if you don't have one and you need to create one. And so, but that's not including the installation. What they do is to say, if you need to insert the data, you then need to hire a professional. So that's kind of what may end up happening. So when you go into recovery, there's some interesting work that you can point to. And actually, I'm going to stop because what I'm seeing now is that I've got a message here that says this has been complete and what they're going to tell me. So let's go take a look at what information they're going to share. So it says here, and so this was just 2 minutes for this. That was actually relatively quick. And so what they're going to do is to say here, you can go take a look at this export page, and it'll tell you something. So let's click on it and let's see where it takes us. This says you've got this file and you can now download the zip file. So we're going to click download. Opening the zip file, we can see that we have 3 CSVs and that we can then open those. Here's a text importer, and what it's showing me is that I've got columns, here, master record name. You see you're kind of pulling those across. And then I can look at standard information that they're pulling. And we can see that I've got lots of information as part of this file. So what would you do with that information? So there's some great articles out here just that you can kind of search for best practices in data recovery. The other one that I thought was really helpful was there's a good article, there's a good YouTube video here that talks about how you can actually get back. It's not the one I was looking for.
Hello, everyone.
This is one called Restoring Lost Data and Using the Weekly Export that actually shows how to pull those CSV files apart and make it work. So best of luck.